Hello, my name is Andrew Thake from Minds and Money. Delighted to be joined today by Sean Cleary, who's the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Strategic Resources. Delighted to have you with us today, Sean.
Thank you, Andrew.
Sean, the headline news with Strategic Resources over the last few weeks has been that you've just closed a $140 million reverse takeover of BlackRock Metals. Why is that such a transformative deal?
Well, the background on Strategic Resources is the Vanadium iron project, former producer in Finland, the formerly producing Mustavären mine. The BlackRock project is a very similar, larger and near-term development project, fully permitted in the province of Quebec, low-cost energy, the backing of the Quebec government and all of the stakeholders, including the Cree Nation, Indigenous group. And, I think investors are starting to get, this on the radar. BlackRock's been in a private company for the last decade developing this project, and it is a major iron vanadium development for Eastern Canada.
Mm-hmm. Some of our investors may not be familiar with vanadium, and they may not be familiar with green steel. Can you just tell us a little bit why vanadium is so important for the mining industry and also green steel as well?
Yes, vanadium is a key component as a ferroalloy in the steelmaking process. So essentially, in simple terms, 1% of vanadium to your steel recipe doubles your tensile strength, and therefore you can have stronger, lighter steels for automotive, structurals, etc. Vanadium is also an energy metal. It's used in large grid scale batteries, which are very much a growing consumption element of vanadium, expected to double the overall consumption of vanadium over the next 8 years. All of that is related to the green steel movement. And, as a matter of policy, Western governments are moving to decommission blast furnace in steel, which are very, very much large greenhouse gas emitters, and move to the electrification of the steel industry. So this will enable, over time, the development of low carbon steels and eventually green steel, which we have a number of pilot plants already up and running. So that's the future of the steelmaking process, and all of that requires metallic iron, which is what the BlackRock project is, and that's what Strategic Resources is all about, providing high purity metallic iron to the steel and foundry industry to enable the electrification of the steel industry. And essentially that will help governments get to 2050 emission goals. And it's the low-hanging fruit in terms of decarbonizing the economy.
And also, what I also like about this deal is also the support you've had from Quebec as well. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, the BlackRock project, now part of Strategic Resources, is very well sponsored by the Quebec government. They've been a key funder. They are currently a 40% shareholder of Strategic Resources and are committed to funding the project going forward. And we're open pit mine near Chibougamau, concentrator, 39-year mine life. This is a generational asset, combined with a metallurgical plant at the port of Saguenay, which is a deep sea port on the east coast of Canada, connected by rail and fully permitted and basically ready for construction.
So what are some of the key timelines that investors can expect to hear, say, over the next 6 to 18 months?
Well, we've just closed our going public transaction to take BlackRock from a private entity into the public March 31st. So we've been up and trading for about 30 days, and we're currently working with our banking groups to complete the overall project financing for the project, which we expect to have done by the end of this calendar year so that we could be into construction in the spring of 2024. Overall timeline for construction is a little bit under 3 years, including the ramp up. So we're excited to get going, complete the project financing, and get into construction.
Mhm. Another really exciting thing about your firm is you've got a great management team. First of all, for people who aren't familiar with who Sean Cleary is, can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. Well, I have a mining finance background and have been working with financing large mining projects since the mid 1990s. And I've been one of the founders of the BlackRock project in 2008. Been full-time on this project for about the last 10 years, taking it through multiple feasibility studies, public hearings, full permitting, negotiating the impact benefit agreement with the Cree Nation, as well as we have 2 development agreements with 3 different bands of Innu nations and cooperation agreements with all of the communities that the project touches.
Mhm. And your management team, can you just talk through as to who some of the key members are?
Yeah. So what we did with when we did the merger of BlackRock into Strategic, we merged part of Lumina Group, Ross Beatty's development company, into our management team. So Scott Hicks continues as Executive VP Corporate Development. Scott is a very well regarded mining executive, been with the Lumina Group for many years. Strong background, as well as the team in Finland. We have a number of people that have been with the Mustavären project for years. And technically, the project is led by Danny Dutton, who's an expert in the iron vanadium space, originally from South Africa.
Mm-hmm. And who are your key shareholders?
Our largest shareholders are Orion Mine Finance, the Quebec government, and the Lumina Group. These are highly credible groups in the mining industry. Through Quebec, it's Investissement Quebec and Resources Quebec, which is well regarded and has a portfolio of maybe 20 plus different mines and late stage development projects, as well as key connections into the community, engineering, construction, contractors, etc.
Mm-hmm. And if you were asked as to what differentiates you from other peers within a similar space, if you had to give sort of 2 or 3 kind of points of differentiation, what would you highlight?
Multiple revenue streams. So typically in the vanadium space, you see, single revenue stream, vanadium companies. The BlackRock project has 3 revenue streams: the iron stream, the vanadium stream, and the titanium stream. Basically, the iron is highly sought after. As I was mentioning before, when we go through this transition from blast furnace to electric furnace, one of the nearby steel mills in Canada mentioned that as they complete their transition in 2027, they're going to require 1.2 million tons of incremental pig iron per year, which is a product that we produce. That's just one plant. We'll produce about 550,000 tons of that product per year. So, this is very highly sought after by the industry, by the traders trying to secure metallic iron, pure metallic iron, important for decarbonization and green steel. And the vanadium, for us, it's really the cherry on top. It's a bit of a volatile metal, so we can basically pay the bills with the iron and make a good profit on that. But also we will experience periods of very high vanadium prices as consumption goes up, and we'll be able to take advantage of that.
So multiple revenue streams, great management team, great shareholder base, really exciting project, and really exciting news about the reverse takeover. Future is certainly looking very, very bright. It's been a pleasure having you on Mines and Money TV. Thank you very much for your time. That was Sean Cleary, the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Strategic Resources. Thank you for your time, Sean.
Thank you, Andrew.